Hi, I'm Hasna and I did the Business Analyst Apprenticeship at Lloyds Banking Group.
My name's Khadija, and I'm doing the Operating Department Practice Apprenticeship with Cambridge University Hospitals.
Congratulations. You have both been nominated for the Multicultural Apprenticeship Awards. Very exciting. Why did you apply for an apprenticeship?
So originally I had a very different plan. I planned to study physiotherapy at university. So that was my plan from sixth form. I applied to university and I planned to take a gap year first just to kind of explore different hobbies and find myself a little bit more. But unfortunately, that was the year that COVID hit. So my gap year plans completely fell through. I had no idea what to do because everything was pretty much closed. So I then tried to look for an alternative at that moment, and I luckily found a teaching assistant role at my secondary school. So I went back there to help out GCSE students with maths and also help to supervise the sixth form students. So that was really interesting. After that, I then went to university. So that was in 2021. But I very quickly realized that it just wasn't the right fit for me. I think that the intensity of the full-time study just felt very overwhelming. And I think because I worked as a teaching assistant in the past, I realized that that working environment was probably more suited for me. So I ended up making a really hard decision to leave and was at a bit of a loss then, and thinking about my next steps was really difficult. Luckily, I did a bit of research and I came across apprenticeships, and I thought that would be a really good balance between having that sort of study aspect and the working aspect, and being able to gain a qualification was really intriguing to me. So I thought it was kind of the perfect balance. So when I came across the business analyst apprenticeship, I thought, you know what, I'll apply. And I luckily got the job and I haven't looked back since. So I'm really glad that I made that decision and it all worked out in the end.
Pretty similar to Hasna, actually. In college, I wanted to do speech and language therapy, so I actually applied to uni. I was in my first year of uni about 6 months in, but I decided it wasn't for me. I wanted something a bit more practical and hands-on and learning more on the job. So I decided to leave within 6 months. And I actually found ODP, and I think it combined everything I wanted, having hands-on learning, getting on-the-job work experience, and also allowed me not to take on student loans either. So then I decided to go with it.
So we're going to move on to our second question then. What's been the biggest milestone of your apprenticeship so far?
I think the biggest milestone for me was during my apprenticeship was actually promoting the ODP apprenticeship during National Apprenticeship Week, because it allowed me to show that there are apprenticeships in the healthcare sector, which I think are often forgotten about. And I think it also allowed me to show that people from different backgrounds can actually do apprenticeships as well.
So I think the biggest milestone was probably my growth. I think both professionally and personally. I think once I'd secured the apprenticeship, although I was really happy, I'd be lying if I said that I was really confident from the beginning. I just had no clue kind of where to start. I think because it was my first big corporate job, I was second guessing myself a lot. I was wondering if I was good enough, did I belong here? And I think being one of the youngest in my team as well, it was really hard not to feel that sort of imposter syndrome. But I realized that over time it just completely shifted. I think through my network, I had a really good manager and a really good support network with fellow apprentices as well. And I think that really helped me to realize that actually, I do deserve to be here. And I kind of looked back at the application process and realized, there were actually thousands of applicants, and luckily I made it through. So clearly I'd done something right. So I think that really gave me the confidence to step up. And since then, I think I've come out of my shell. I've led a lot of meetings with senior stakeholders. I've completed a lot of presentations. And then obviously passing the apprenticeship itself was a huge moment for me. So I think that all in all, it really helped me to just gain that confidence. And I feel like I look back now and I can't really recognize the person I was. I think that transformation and that belief in myself has really helped me to grow in ways that I couldn't imagine before.
What have you done to go above and beyond in your role that has led to this nomination?
So I'm actually a mentor for a platform called Connector, where I help Key Stage 3 to Key Stage 5 students with job hunting, career advice, CV advice. And I think that's really nice to just be able to give back and show others as well that apprenticeships are that alternative to university. I've also, as part of the ambassador role as well, I've spoken at a few apprenticeship fairs, specifically at my old secondary school. To participate at the apprenticeship fairs was really great, because I was once in the students' dues, so I think it really resonated with them, and was a really rewarding experience. Through my role as a youth ambassador for Youth Employment UK, I've written an article about managing stress and anxiety. I've helped to promote the Youth Voice Centres, and I'm also working on a piece to support students around GCSE Results Day. So that's another way that I've been able to give back as well. And I've also been a finalist for the Lloyd's Higher Apprentice of the Year award. So that's really been the cherry on top. I think it's just that recognition just to show how much I've grown and, again, how much I've given back.
I think firstly it's being a youth ambassador for Youth Employment UK, because I'm quite passionate about making sure that young people have access to inclusive career options. And as part of being a youth ambassador, I've actually been part of the youth advisory panel, and contributing to the development of the youth guarantee. And I've also been invited to forums like last week and actually putting out a young person's perspective on apprenticeships, which I think is really important. The other thing that I've also been involved in is actually starting an association with my twin sister known as the Association of Muslim Apprentices. And basically there we've been advocating about apprenticeships in the Muslim community, because as someone who's Muslim myself, and when I was looking for apprenticeships, I didn't have a lot of support. And there wasn't a lot of resources available out there, so I kind of applied blindly. So actually making sure that we have advice and resources and support for apprentices out there, I think is really important.
How do you both have enough hours and days in the week to do all this? It's incredible. Finally, let's think ahead to hopefully what's going to happen with this nomination. Final question: what will you do if you win this award? What impact are you hoping to have if you win this award?
I think winning this award would give me a significant platform to amplify my passion and enable me to advocate from a local to also a national level as well. I think by bringing my lived experiences into influential spaces such as like policy making forums, hospital trust events and community workshops would make a really big difference. I believe that it's essential to include diverse voices, especially when shaping healthcare policies and educational programs, to ensure that apprentices are being included and supported. But I don't want to just focus on cultural inclusion. I also want to make sure that the educational pathways for apprenticeships are equitable for all communities. I think by receiving this award, I don't want it just to be like a tick box moment. I want to actively build something better for those who come after all of us. But yeah, I think I hope to become a role model for others and to show them what is possible through an apprenticeship, and to encourage more diverse talent to enter theatres and healthcare roles, which are often overlooked.
Winning this award would mean more than just that personal achievement. I think is that chance to make a real difference for others. So I'd like to create workshops or webinars specifically for young people from diverse backgrounds, where we can have these honest conversations about apprenticeships, what it's like to work in a workplace environment, building confidence, dealing with imposter syndrome. And I think those kind of talks will help people feel less alone and more empowered. So that's one of the things. I think within Lloyd's itself, I'd like to set up a mentoring circle to connect current apprentices with alumni like myself, so we can support each other, not just professionally, but personally, and share those challenges and successes, during the apprenticeship or outside of that, to help each other grow. So I think that would be a really lovely idea. I think on a bigger scale, I'd like to collaborate with Youth Employment UK and Lloyd's itself to develop, sort of creative storytelling projects. So maybe doing videos or campaigns that show what apprenticeships are really like, so on a day-to-day scale. And I think making it relatable can really kind of push and advocate for apprenticeships a little bit more. And I think overall, just winning will give me that platform to speak at bigger events and help influence how schools and companies can promote these alternative routes. I really just want people to understand that there isn't just that one path. You know, there's so many different routes other than university that can help them, you know, find their own way and not have that fear to do that, because I think it is really difficult when you don't know where to start. So yeah, I think that this award is more than just a celebration. It's like my responsibility to use my voice and experiences to create that real support, and I think inspire others as well.